What if you want the truth and nothing but the truth in an age of darkness? Can you still find light alone? Good day, everyone. This is the story of a man who was one of 6, 4 men and 2 women, who met in Mecca secretly, vowing to find the truth and worship the one God, while their people were worshipping idols and have gone astray from the religion of Abraham. Zayd took his friend, his name was Waraqa, and went together to Levant to ask about the religions of Judaism and Christianity. He met rabbis. One of the rabbis asked him, "From where do you come?" He said, "I'm coming from Mecca." He says, "The city of Abraham, who built the Kaaba?" He said, "Yes." After a discussion, Zayd was not very satisfied to join Judaism. So the rabbi says, "Then your choice is join the religion, the true religion of Abraham. Be a Hanif." Abraham worshipped the one God, and he did not commit blasphemy. So Zayd went on asking Christian priests. One of the priests asked him the same question, and after the discussion, Zayd was not quite satisfied with Christianity. So the priest says, "Why don't you then join the religion of Abraham? Abraham worshipped the one God, and he did not commit blasphemy." And so Zayd, having heard the same story from both the rabbi and the priest, he goes out, he looks to the sky, he prays to God, he says, "God, be my witness that I am on the religion of Abraham, worshipping you alone." Now the problem is, the religion of Abraham has almost disappeared. The followers of Abraham and Ishmael in Mecca and the rest of Arabia are now worshipping idols beside Allah, beside God. But Zayd has this great determination, which makes him one of the most distinguished persons that you can read or hear about. He goes back to Mecca. He looks into all the practices of his people. They're going around Kaaba worshipping, and they're calling the names of the idols, so he stands with his back to the Kaaba and says, "No, only mention God." He goes to the people in Mecca. They have the despicable tradition of burying their own daughters on fear of disgrace. He goes to the man who is going to bury his own daughter alive. He says, "Don't do that, don't kill her, give her to me. I will raise her for you, and when she's grown up, come to me. If you like her, take her. If you don't like her, I will keep her with me." He finds his people slaughtering animals on altars to the idols. He says, "This cannot be the religion of Abraham. He does not eat from the meat that is slaughtered on altars. He only eats the meat that he slaughters on the name of God, of Allah." Zayd keeps preaching to his people. He says, "I am the only one who is worshipping only Allah. You are worshipping idols. You are committing blasphemy." His people, in the eyes of the Arabs, are the grand priests of the holy masjid, of the holy Kaaba. They do not accept that this guy is preaching to them. Who are you to preach to us? We are the custodians of the major masjid of the Arab world. But Zayd, with a connection established with God, stands alone in front of the Kaaba, waits until the sun sets so that nobody would think that he's praying for the sun, and then prays to God, prays to Allah, "Oh Allah, I don't know what is the correct way to worship you, but if I know, I would worship you on that way." And then he falls to his knees and he puts his nose to the ground and he prostrates to God and only God. They're fed up of him. Even his wife is conspiring against him. His uncle, his name was Khattab, starts to push people at him, to harass him. They push him to the suburbs, and when he wants to go back to the city, they prevent him. He starts wandering around in the desert. He thinks, "I will go, maybe I will find somebody who knows the religion of Abraham, and I will learn from him." He goes to Mosul. He goes again to one of the rabbis and the priests, and one of them says, "There is no one that I know who knows the religion of Abraham except you. But I'll tell you something, In our books, it's very soon that the final prophet will appear. And we know he will appear in your home country. Go back and wait for him. He goes back. But conspiracies are all over the place against him. They have scouts looking for him if he comes back because they're fed up with him. One day he sits with his friend. His friend's name was Amir. He tells him, I am waiting for a prophet to come. When he comes, I follow him. I believe in him from now. He is going to be from the children of Ishmael. He is going to be from the house of Abdul Muttalib. I feel I will not catch up with him. I will die before he comes. And if he comes, you join him. You believe in him. While trying to get into Mecca, his uncle sets an ambush for him, and he's murdered. It is said so. While he's dying, it is said that he prays to God, Oh Allah, now I'm dying. I did not catch up with your prophet. Oh Allah, please make my son a follower for your prophet. Zayd is this distinguished character in history. Prophet Muhammad receives the message 5 years after Zayd's death. His son joins the Prophet. He becomes one of the 10 most distinguished followers of the Prophet. He's one whom the Prophet has told, you are going to paradise. His son goes to the Prophet Muhammad later in Medina. He says, O Prophet Muhammad, you know the story of my father Zayd. What is his fate? He says, may Allah have mercy and forgiveness bestowed upon your father. On Judgment Day, on Judgment Day, people are called nation by nation. These are the people of Moses. These are the people who follow Jesus. These are the people who follow Muhammad. He says, your father is called as a nation on his own on Judgment Day. This is the weight of this person. On Judgment Day, he's a nation on his own. He says he's a nation on his own between me and Jesus. Amir, his friend, later on, when the Prophet immigrates to Medina, he told him that he will immigrate to Medina. He joins Islam and he goes to the Prophet and he tells him the story and he tells him the same thing. He says, I have seen Zayd in paradise dragging his clothes behind him, like a king. Now, at that time, where darkness was everywhere, this guy stood strong. He only accepted the truth. He stood against everyone. He said, there's only one God, I'm going only to worship one God. And he didn't keep his mouth shut. He told everyone. He wanted the truth and the good news for everyone. So if you are looking for the truth and you're not lucky, you do not find the right people. The right religion is there, but you do not find the people who will teach you the right religion. Be truthful to God. He will show you the truth. If He does not give you the right people, if you are in a place where you cannot reach the right people, it's difficult these days, but let's assume, He will accept you. And on Judgment Day, you will be at a very, very high rank. We are here to find the truth. If there is no coach, and if you do not find the book, but you find the truth in your heart, you have found everything. Thank you.